There is one thing that violent people and narcissists can't handle, and that is long-term frustration. They can't handle it. That is why violent people, as well as narcissists, they act out. They seek to control you so that they don't have to be challenged. The moment you don't submit to their controlling, they attack you because they can't even handle that. They can't handle you challenging their urge to control you. The moment a narcissist or a violent individual sees that they cannot control you in any way, and the moment they realize that them fighting you is going to cost them long-term frustration and long-term embarrassment, they stop. They flee. They turn their heads around. They capitulate completely. No ceasefire that they stop attacking you just to get relief, they just flee. They're done with you. Why? Because they can't handle long-term frustration, because under long-term frustration, they'll expose themselves and there's no turning back. Violent people as well as narcissists depend on excuses to get along with other people, and other people must be willing to put up with their excuses. Let me give an example. Let's say you're a child, let's say you're 10, 12 years old, and you see that all your relatives are talking bad about a cousin of yours. They are hating on this cousin, they are violent towards this cousin, and you feel terrified as a 12-year-old that your relatives are operating this way. You never saw this side of them. And when you talk about what your cousin did wrong, they tell you, shut up, you're a kid, mind your own business. But here's the thing, they keep carrying this anger around that affects you indirectly, even though the anger is not targeted at you, you are affected by it, but you're not allowed to speak about it. So now you are confronted with their injustice. There are two things you can do. Either you can acknowledge the situation for what it is, so you recognize something is wrong with your relatives, or you walk away from it, so you deny it. And people that deny it, they don't want to see it. It's too painful. So if all the relatives are targeting someone, they will come up with an excuse, well, maybe that individual did something wrong, or maybe he asked for it. They will side with the perpetrators just because they don't want to face the fact that those people are perpetrators. Now, if it's someone from the streets out there, a weirdo, that they don't know, that's acting like that, they have no problem with it because they don't have to do with that individual. But the fact that people that are so emotionally invested in, that they are financially dependent on, are that way, is something for them, there's something too overwhelming for them. When someone is a child or a kid, you can expect that. But once someone is an adult, that they're able to have financial options, there's no excuse and no reason for them to get along with excuses of violent people and reprobates. They don't. A small child or a teenager, it's too overwhelming for them to deal with the reality for what it is. So it's to expect that they come up with excuses. But once someone reaches adulthood and they have financial options, don't take it. From that point on, they've chosen willfully to be part of the darkness and be part of the evil. So they've become narcissistic themselves. So violent people and narcissists depend on the investment of others to be left alone. Because if they're not left alone, they escalate. And narcissists and violent people, they can't handle frustration, especially not on the long term. They can't. The moment you're able to resist them long term, they are quiet. They don't want to deal with you. They don't. They really don't want to deal with you when you can resist them long term, successfully. They want people that they can victimize anytime they want. They want people they can get rid of when they want to. They don't want someone that they have to give an account to. Now, check this out. When people around you see a dark situation and they refuse to admit how dark it is, those are the type of people you should avoid. Because they're history. Those people, for the rest of their lives, will go around in circles, just avoid having to deal with that situation. And now there are going to be more situations you want to avoid. And that's how it goes on and on and on. Look, 1 + 1 = 2. Okay, 1 plus 1 equals 2. That's easy math. The same way when you check reality, you have to look at the context. Don't look at the incidents. The incidents may confuse you, especially if people act in an inconsistent way. Look at the context. When you look at the context, it's 1 plus 1 equals 2. So, if the context shows you that people don't want to face anything, that they just want relief, then realize the following. You will never be safe hanging around those people. Even if their anger and their bitterness is not targeted at you, you won't be safe around them. Because the only reason they're okay with you is because somewhere you don't challenge their BS. The moment you stand up for what's right, or the moment you decide that you don't want to put up with their violence, even if it's not targeted at you, you're in trouble. 1 plus 1 equals 2. So look, for example, let's say you grew up in a ghetto. That's not your fault that place is a ghetto. It's not you. You grew up there. Well, but realize it's a ghetto. So two things can happen. Either everyone leaves the ghetto and it becomes an abundant neighborhood. And once it becomes an abundant neighborhood, later other people can move in and things can start over. Or people stay there, but they change their minds and they develop as a community. If none of the two happens, then there's only one option left for you. You need to leave the ghetto. Because you staying there will only pollute you. Either you become just like them, or you'll become the victim and you'll die before your time. One of the two. If you are in a marriage with someone and your spouse is going downwards, they are a narcissist and becoming worse and worse, either that spouse comes to the realization you need to change and you both will go into therapy and things work out, or you leave that marriage. Because if you stay there, while the context does not reveal any improvement, you will be contributing to your own demise and the demise of your children and your whole household. And you'll be enabling evil to the community around you. So you'll become a perpetrator of evil also. If you're at a job and the employer doesn't want to pay you, after repeatedly you confront him with it, then you go to the police, then you report it, and you leave that place. And you never go back again. 1 plus 1 equals 2. We as believers ought to be wise. Evil is around until Christ returns. Why? Because there are defective human beings that don't want to comply with solutions. That's why evil is around. Evil is an outworking of their defectiveness that they persist in. Now, either you remove all those bad people from the earth, but that's something that's going to be quite bloody and messy, and you will also harm children. Because let's say you have parents who are bad people, but they have children. Those children depend on those parents. So if you eliminate those people from the earth, you will also harm the children. So to eliminate all bad people, that's going to be genocidal. We won't do that. And will also cause additional harm to the harm that's already here. But to just allow the evil to work out and ruin everything and everyone, that's also not an option. The right decision is that we have to manage evil around us. Not manage in the sense that we engage in evil, but we need to shut down evil as far as we can by overruling it with good. That's what we ought to do as believers. You know what the Illuminati is? The Illuminati are a sect of devil worshippers that manage the evil in the human population. That's what they are. They're evil themselves and they manage evil, and now they want credit for it as if they are gods. It shouldn't be those Apollonians that manage evil. We believers should do it because we have the ability to shut down evil and overrule it with good. That's what we ought to do. This whole mentality of, I want to be left alone. No. That's the root of evil. Just want to be left alone, doing whatever you want to do, not being challenged. We are not supposed to jump into every situation and interfere in every affair. No, absolutely not. But we should shut down evil around us when we walk by faith. We should. We are called to manage the earth on behalf of the Heavenly Father. And as long as evil is on the earth, we will have to face it and manage it in a Christ-centered way. Vengeance belongs to God. Repercussions belong to us. Repercussions are ours. Vengeance is God's. So God takes vengeance to vindicate us and to magnify His name. We enforce repercussions to maintain stability, sanity, and prosperity on the earth. And we are powered by the Holy Spirit Himself. That's how it ought to be. So, 1 plus 1 equals 2. Don't let anyone fool you with weird myths and illogical statements. Because we human beings, we tend to hold on to a lot of illogical statements. Don't do that. Agree with Christ.